My name is Richard Allen Morrison, and I am 69 years old. The moment I discovered my wife's secret, the moment I opened her phone and saw months of WhatsApp messages between her and our 32-year-old neighbor, I was standing in our kitchen at 6:30 in the morning, making coffee while she slept upstairs in the bed we'd shared for 45 years. Her phone had been buzzing on the counter. Once, twice, 3 times in rapid succession. I glanced at it, intending to just see if it was important, if it was one of our kids calling with an emergency. Instead, I saw a preview of a message that made my blood run cold. Jake, last night was incredible. I can't stop thinking about touching you. When can I see you again? Jake, our neighbor. The 32-year-old divorced personal trainer who lived 3 doors down. The man who'd been so helpful with carrying groceries. Who'd been so friendly when we'd run into him on our evening walks. Who my wife Linda had been. My hands started shaking. I picked up her phone. She didn't have a lock code. We'd never needed privacy from each other in 45 years of marriage. Or at least, I'd thought we didn't. I opened WhatsApp, scrolled to Jake's conversation, and found hundreds of messages. Going back 4 months. Messages that destroyed everything I thought I knew about my wife, my marriage, my entire life. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me start at the beginning. Because to understand how a 67-year-old woman ends up having an affair with a man young enough to be her son, to understand how 45 years of marriage can be destroyed by a neighbor with abs and a smile, you need to know our story. Every detail. Every moment that led to this devastating morning. I met Linda Marie Patterson in 1978. I was 24 years old, working as a mechanic at Morrison Auto Repair, living in a small apartment above a pizza shop, driving a beat-up Ford truck that barely ran. I had grease under my fingernails and a high school diploma and not much else. Linda was 22, working as a secretary at a law firm downtown, living with 2 roommates in a slightly nicer apartment than mine. She had ambition, intelligence, and the most beautiful smile I'd ever seen. We met at a mutual friend's barbecue on a Saturday afternoon in July. I was helping our friend Mike grill burgers when Linda walked into the backyard wearing a yellow sundress and carrying a bowl of potato salad. "That's Linda," Mike said, noticing me staring. "She's single, she's smart, and she's way out of your league. Thanks for the confidence boost. Just being honest, man. But hey, you can try." I did try. Walked right up to her with all the confidence I could muster. "Hi, I'm Richard. Rick. I'm the one burning the burgers." She laughed. "Well, at least you're honest about it. I'm Linda. I made the potato salad, which is probably also terrible because I used my roommate's recipe and she's a terrible cook. Want to try the possibly terrible potato salad with definitely terrible burgers?" Sounds perfect. We spent the whole afternoon talking. She told me about growing up in a small town in upstate New York, the middle child of 5 kids. Her dad was a factory worker, her mom a homemaker. They didn't have much money, but they were happy. She'd moved to the city for work, dreamed of maybe going back to school someday, wasn't sure what she wanted to do with her life, but knew she wanted more than just being a secretary forever. I told her about my life, growing up working class in New Jersey, learning to fix cars for my uncle who owned a garage, moving to the city for better job opportunities. I liked working with my hands, like taking broken things and making them work again. Didn't have big ambitions beyond being good at what I did and maybe owning my own shop someday. "That's not lacking ambition," Linda said. "That's knowing what makes you happy. That's rare." We started dating. She didn't seem to mind that I was a mechanic who showed up to dates with permanently stained hands and motor oil under my fingernails. She didn't care that I drove a truck that made concerning noises or that I lived in a tiny apartment with furniture from garage sales. "My dad worked in a factory for 40 years, she told me when I apologized for not being able to afford fancy restaurants. "He provided for 5 kids and a wife on that salary. There's honor in hard work, Rick. Don't ever apologize for it." I fell in love with her for that, for seeing value in what I did, for not making me feel less than because I wasn't a lawyer or a businessman in a suit. We dated for 2 years. I proposed on Christmas Eve 1979, with a ring I'd saved up for months to buy. Quarter-carat diamond, simple band, all I could afford. "Linda, I'm not rich. I'm probably never going to be rich. But I will work hard every day to give you a good life. Will you marry me?" She said yes before I finished asking. We got married in March 1980. Small ceremony in a church with 50 guests. Linda wore a dress her mother had made. I wore a suit I'd bought at J.C. Penney. We honeymooned for 3 days at a cabin Mike let us borrow. It was perfect. She was perfect. We were perfect. The first few years of marriage were hard but happy. I worked long hours at the garage. Linda kept working at the law firm. We lived in a tiny one-bedroom apartment, saved every penny we could, dreamed of buying a house someday. Our daughter Jennifer was born in 1982. Perfect little girl with Linda's blonde hair and my blue eyes. I'd never felt love like that, looking at this tiny person Linda and I had created together. She's beautiful, I said, holding her for the first time. She has your nose, Linda said, smiling despite her exhaustion. Poor kid. Linda laughed. I love your nose. And she's perfect. Our son Michael came 2 years later. Another perfect baby. Our family was complete. Money was tight, really tight, with 2 kids and 1.5 incomes. Linda went part-time after Jennifer was born. We lived paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes we ate beans and rice for a week to stretch the budget. Christmas presents were modest. Vacations were camping trips to state parks. But we were happy. God, we were so happy. Linda stayed home with the kids while they were young. I worked overtime whenever I could, 60, 70-hour weeks, coming home exhausted and covered in grease, but satisfied that I was providing for my family. By 1990, I'd saved enough to buy a small house. 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, in a working-class neighborhood. Nothing fancy, but it was ours. We painted every room ourselves. Linda refinished the hardwood floors on her hands and knees. I fixed the plumbing and the electrical. It was a labor of love. This is our forever home, Linda said the day we moved in, standing in the empty living room, tears in her eyes. Forever, I agreed, kissing her. You, me, and the kids. This is where we'll grow old together. I meant it with every fiber of my being. The years passed in a blur of soccer practices and school plays and parent-teacher conferences. I worked my way up at Morrison Auto, mechanic to shop foreman to shop manager. Eventually, with a loan and a lot of faith, I bought the garage from Mr. Morrison when he retired. Morrison Auto became Morrison & Amp, Sun Auto Repair. I brought Michael into the business when he graduated high school. Linda went back to work when the kids were in school, this time as an office manager at a medical practice. She was good at it, organized, efficient, friendly. She got promoted to practice administrator after a few years. We weren't rich, but we were comfortable. We'd made it. 2 kids who turned out well. Jennifer became a teacher, got married to a good man named David, had 3 kids we adored. Michael took over the garage when I semi-retired at 65, married a sweet girl named Amy, had 2 kids. Linda and I settled into our 60s. I still worked at the garage part-time, mostly because I couldn't stand the idea of full retirement. Linda kept working too, loved her job, loved feeling useful. We took up hiking, went to the gym together 3 times a week, just light cardio and weight machines, nothing crazy, but enough to stay healthy. Took a cruise for our 40th anniversary. Hosted Sunday dinners where the whole family came together. We did good, didn't we? I said one Sunday evening after everyone had left, sitting on the couch with Linda, her head on my shoulder. We did. We really did. I love you, Linda. After 43 years, I love you more every day. I love you too, Rick. Always. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? We'd built this life together. Raised kids together. Survived financial struggles and family crises and all the normal challenges of a long marriage. We were partners. Best friends. Soulmates. What I didn't know, what I couldn't have known, was that Linda was about to throw it all away for a 32-year-old with muscles and an empty apartment. Jake Martinez moved into the neighborhood 2 years ago, in the summer of 2023. He bought the house 3 doors down. A young guy, early 30s, worked as a personal trainer at one of those expensive boutique gyms. He was friendly enough. Waved when he saw us. Stopped to chat if we were outside at the same time. He was divorced, he told us, no kids. Had moved to the neighborhood for a fresh start. Seems like a nice kid, I said to Linda after meeting him the first time. Very polite, Linda agreed. Good looking too. She said it casually, like an observation, nothing more. I thought nothing of it. Linda could appreciate that someone was attractive without it meaning anything. We'd been married 43 years. We were secure in our relationship. Or so I thought. Jake started showing up more and more. Happened to be outside, when Linda was getting groceries from the car, offered to help carry them. Noticed we were taking a walk, and joined us a few times. Saw Linda struggling with a bag of mulch at the garden center and helped her load it into our car. He's so helpful, Linda kept saying. Such a nice young man. I agreed. He was helpful. Friendly. Seemed genuinely nice. I didn't notice that Linda started dressing differently when she knew she might run into him. Didn't notice that she started going to the gym more often, and that Jake worked at that gym. Didn't notice that she started doing her makeup before just running to the store, or just checking the mail. I didn't notice because I trusted her. Because after 43 years of marriage, why would I suspect anything? The first real warning sign came 6 months ago, in the summer of 2024. Linda started spending more time on her phone, texting constantly, smiling at her screen, being secretive about who she was talking to. Who are you texting? I asked one evening. Just Sarah from work. Planning a lunch. That's a lot of texts for planning a lunch. She's very indecisive about restaurants. You know how she is. It was plausible. Reasonable. I didn't push. But then she started making excuses to leave the house. Running errands that took twice as long as they should. Going for a walk, alone instead of with me. Meeting friends for coffee, more and more often. You're never home anymore, I commented one Saturday when she was heading out again. I'm home all the time, Rick. I just have things to do. What things? Errands. Social plans. I'm allowed to have a life outside this house, aren't I? Of course. I just miss you. I'm right here. But she wasn't. Not really. She was physically present but emotionally distant. When we sat on the couch watching TV, she was on her phone. When we went to bed, she faced away from me. When I tried to initiate intimacy, something that had become increasingly rare, she always had an excuse. I'm tired. My back hurts. Can we do it tomorrow? But tomorrow never came. I told myself this was normal. We were in our late 60s. Our intimate life naturally slowed down. Linda was probably just stressed with work, or going through hormonal changes, or a dozen other perfectly innocent explanations. I told myself there was nothing to worry about. And then came the morning of November 15th, 2024. The morning everything changed. I woke up at 6 a.m. like I always did. Linda was still asleep. She'd been sleeping in later and later, which wasn't like her. But I figured she needed rest. I went downstairs to make coffee. Linda's phone was on the kitchen counter, charging. She must have left it there overnight, which was also unlike her. Usually she kept it on her nightside table. The phone started buzzing. Text messages coming in rapid succession. I glanced at it reflexively, just to see if it was important. 3 message previews lit up the screen. Jake, last night was incredible. I can't stop thinking about touching you. Jake, when can I see you again? I need you. Jake, you drive me crazy. I've never felt this way about anyone. My heart stopped. Jake, our neighbor, 32 years old, was texting my wife, my 67-year-old wife. And his messages implied. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. I picked it up, swiped it open. No passcode. Linda had never needed privacy from me. Or so I'd thought. I opened WhatsApp. Found Jake's conversation. Scrolled up. The messages went back 4 months. Hundreds of them. Thousands maybe. I started reading, my stomach churning with every word. Linda, I can't stop thinking about last night either. You make me feel things I haven't felt in decades. Jake, you're so beautiful. I can't believe your husband doesn't worship you every day. Linda, Rick is a good man. But he's old, Jake. We're old. We just exist together. There's no passion anymore. Jake, You're not old. You're perfect. And last night proved there's plenty of passion in you. Linda, what we're doing is wrong. I'm almost 70 years old. You're 32. This is crazy. Jake, age is just a number. What we have is real. Linda, is it? Or are you just attracted to an older woman? Some kind of fantasy? Jake, it's not a fantasy. It's real. You're real. The way you touch me, the way you look at me, I've never had that with anyone else. I scrolled further back. Found the first messages from July. Jake. Hey Linda. Thanks again for the advice about my kitchen renovation. Want to come see the finished product? Linda. I'd love to. When? Jake. How about tomorrow afternoon? Around 2. Linda. Perfect. See you then. From there, the messages progressed quickly. Flirty comments. Compliments that crossed lines. Late-night conversations that became increasingly inappropriate. Then, 3 months ago, this exchange. Jake, I know this is wrong. But I need to tell you, I'm attracted to you. Really attracted to you. Linda. Jake, I'm 67 years old. I have grandchildren. You can't be serious. Jake, I've never been more serious. You're beautiful and smart and funny. Age doesn't matter. Linda. It should matter. I'm married. Rick is a good man. This can't happen. Jake. I'm not asking for it to happen. I just needed you to know how I feel. But it did happen. 2 weeks later. Linda. I can't stop thinking about what you said. About being attracted to me. Jake. I meant every word. Linda. This is insane. But I think I feel it too. This pull toward you. Jake. So what do we do about it? Linda. I don't know. Nothing. We can't do anything. Jake. Or we could stop fighting it. We could just see what happens. Linda. Rick is at the garage today until 6. I could come by around 3. Jake. I'll be here. And she went. My wife of 43 years went to our neighbor's house while I was working. The next message, sent that evening. Linda. I can't believe we just did that. I can't believe I just cheated on my husband. Jake. Are you okay? Do you regret it? Linda. I don't know what I feel. It was incredible. You were incredible. But Rick. God, what have I done? Jake. You did what you wanted. What you needed. There's no shame in that. Linda. Isn't there? I'm a 67-year-old woman who just slept with a 32-year-old man while her husband was at work. That's pretty shameful. Jake. You're a woman who deserves passion and excitement. If Rick isn't giving you that, it's not your fault for finding it elsewhere. From there, the affair became regular. 2 to 3 times a week, Linda would go to Jake's house while I was at work. They'd meet in the mornings when I went to the gym. Once, they'd even met at a motel an hour away for a full afternoon. The messages were explicit, detailed, describing things they'd done, things they wanted to do. Linda talked about her body in ways I hadn't heard in years. Confident, sexual, desired. Linda. I looked at myself in the mirror this morning and for the first time in years, I felt beautiful. You make me feel beautiful, Jake. Jake. Because you are beautiful. Rick is an idiot if he doesn't see that. Linda. Rick sees a 67-year-old woman with gray hair and wrinkles. You see. I don't know what you see. But whatever it is, I like it. Jake. I see a sexy, confident woman who knows what she wants. Age has nothing to do with it. There were thousands of messages like this. Planning when to meet. Describing their encounters. Making plans for the future. Jake. What if you left him? We could be together for real. Linda. I can't leave Rick. We've been married 45 years. We have kids, grandkids. A whole life together. Jake. But are you happy? Linda. I was. Or I thought I was. Now I don't know. You've made me realize how much I've been missing. Jake. So leave him. Choose happiness. Choose me. Linda. It's not that simple. Jake. It could be. If you wanted it to be. I read for an hour. Every message, every detail, every plan they'd made. Every time Linda had lied to me about where she was going and what she was doing. Yesterday, November 14th, Linda had told me she was going to lunch with friends from work. Instead, according to the messages, Jake, can't wait to see you today. I've been thinking about you all morning. Linda, me too. I told Rick I have lunch plans. I'll be there by noon. Jake, perfect. I have the afternoon off. We can take our time. Linda, I feel guilty lying to him, but not guilty enough to stop. Jake, because this is what you need, what you deserve. They'd spent 4 hours together. For hours while I thought she was having lunch with friends. I stood in my kitchen, holding my wife's phone, reading evidence of her betrayal, and I felt my entire world collapse. 45 years of marriage. 45 years of working my ass off to provide for her, to give her a good life, to be a good husband. 45 years of loyalty and love and partnership. And she'd thrown it all away for a 32-year-old with abs. I heard footsteps on the stairs. Linda was awake. I set her phone down exactly where I'd found it and walked out to the garage. Sat in my truck. Tried to breathe through the rage and hurt and devastation. What was I supposed to do? Confront her? Pretend I didn't know? File for divorce? After 45 years, how do you end a marriage? How do you walk away from a life you've built together? But how do you stay with someone who's been lying to you for months? Who's been sleeping with a man young enough to be her son? I sat in that truck for an hour, trying to figure out what to do next. Finally, I went back inside. Linda was in the kitchen, drinking coffee, scrolling through her phone, probably deleting messages so I wouldn't see them if I happened to look. "Morning," she said, not looking up. "You were up early. Couldn't sleep. Everything okay?" "Is it, Linda? Is everything okay?" She looked up then, something in my tone alerting her. "What do you mean? How was lunch with your friends yesterday?" "What? Oh, it was fine. Good. We went to that Italian place on Market Street." "Really? Which friends were there?" "Sarah. And Michelle." "Why? What did you order?" "Rick, what is this? Why are you interrogating me about lunch?" "Because I want to hear you lie to my face. I want to hear you make up details about a lunch that never happened while you were actually spending 4 hours fucking our neighbor." The color drained from her face. "What? Don't insult me by pretending you don't know what I'm talking about. I read the messages, Linda. All of them. Jake. 4 months. Every lie, every meeting, every time you went to his house while I was working." She set down her coffee cup with a shaking hand. "Rick, how could you?" My voice broke. 45 years. Linda. We've been married for 45 years. We built this life together. Raised kids together. How could you throw that away for a kid half your age? He's not a kid. He's 32. He's young enough to be our son. What the hell are you thinking? I'm not thinking. That's the point. For the first time in decades, I'm not thinking about being responsible or appropriate or what people will say. I'm just feeling. Feeling what? What could you possibly be feeling that's worth destroying our marriage? Alive. She was crying now, tears streaming down her face. I'm feeling alive for the first time in years, Rick. Do you understand that? Do you have any idea what it's like to be invisible? Invisible? What are you talking about? When's the last time you really looked at me? When's the last time you told me I was beautiful? When's the last time you touched me like you wanted me, not just like it was an obligation? We're almost 70 years old, Linda. Things change. That's normal. Well, maybe I don't want normal. Maybe I'm tired of being old and invisible and boring. Jake makes me feel young, desired, beautiful. He looks at me like I'm the most attractive woman in the world. He's using you. Can't you see that? He's a 32-year-old guy having an affair with a woman twice his age. What do you think that says about him? It says he's not hung up on age like the rest of the world. It says he has issues. It says he's probably getting off on the taboo of it, on the control he has over you. You don't know him. And you do. You've known him for 4 months. We've known each other for 47 years. 47 years of you taking me for granted. 47 years of me being the responsible one, the good wife, the one who sacrifices everything for everyone else. That's what marriage is. That's what partnership means. You don't get to have a midlife crisis at 67 and destroy everything because some kid pays attention to you. I'm not having a midlife crisis. I'm finally admitting that I'm unhappy. That I've been unhappy for years. The words hung in the air between us. Unhappy. She'd been unhappy. For years. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, my voice small, defeated. If you were unhappy, why didn't you say something? We could have worked on it. Gone to counseling. Something. Anything except this. Would we have? Really? Or would you have told me I was being ridiculous, that we're too old for passion, that I should be grateful for what we have? Is that really what you think of me? She looked at me with tears streaming down her face. I don't know what I think anymore. All I know is that Jake makes me feel things I haven't felt in years. And I'm not ready to give that up. So what are you saying? You want a divorce? You want to leave me for him? I don't know what I want. I need time to figure this out. Time? You've had 4 months. How much more time do you need? Rick, please. Are you in love with him? Silence. Linda, answer the question. Are you in love with our 32-year-old neighbor? I don't know. Maybe. Yes. I think so. The words broke something in me. Something fundamental and irreparable. Get out. What? Get out of this house. I don't care where you go. Go to Jake's. Go to a hotel. Go anywhere. But I don't want you here. Rick, this is my house too. I don't give a damn. You want to be with Jake? Go be with him. See how long a 32-year-old wants a 67-year-old woman when the thrill wears off. You're being cruel. I'm being cruel? I'm being cruel? You've been lying to me for 4 months. You've been sleeping with another man. And I'm cruel for asking you to leave. Linda stood there, tears streaming down her face, her hands shaking. I never meant to hurt you. But you did. You destroyed everything. 45 years. Linda. You destroyed 45 years. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix this. She walked upstairs. I heard her moving around, packing a bag. 20 minutes later, she came back down with a suitcase. I'm going to stay with Margaret for a few days. Just until we can talk about this calmly. Margaret. Her sister. Not Jake. Interesting. Fine. Rick, we need to figure out. Not now. I can't look at you right now. Just go. She left. I watched her car pull out of the driveway. And then I was alone in the house we'd shared for 34 years, trying to figure out how my life had fallen apart so completely in the span of a few hours. I called Jennifer first. My daughter deserved to know. Dad? It's early. Is everything okay? Your mother is having an affair. With Jake. The neighbor. Silence. Then. What? No. That can't be right. Mom wouldn't. I read the messages. 4 months. They've been sleeping together while I've been at work. Oh my God. Dad, I'm so sorry. I'm coming over. You don't have to. I'm coming over. She was there in 30 minutes, David in tow. They sat with me at the kitchen table while I told them everything. The messages. The lies. Linda's confession. Jennifer was crying. I can't believe Mom would do this. She's always been the responsible one. The moral one. This doesn't make any sense. She said she's been unhappy. 4 years. Did you know? No. I had no idea. I thought we were happy. I thought we were fine. David put a hand on my shoulder. What are you going to do, Rick? I don't know. Divorce, I guess. What else can I do? Do you want to try to work it out? With a woman who's in love with a man half her age? A woman who's been lying to me for 4 months? I don't know if there's anything left to work out. We called Michael next. He was at the garage, just opening up for the day. Dad? What's wrong? Your mother's been having an affair. I found out this morning. She's moved out. Jesus Christ. With who? Jake. The neighbor. That kid. The personal trainer. Yeah. What the fuck? Mom is 67 years old. I know. This is insane. Where is she now? At Aunt Margaret's. Does she want a divorce? I don't know. We didn't get that far. Do you? The question hung in the air. Did I want a divorce? Could I forgive this? Could I ever trust Linda again? I don't know, I said honestly. Right now, I just feel betrayed. Devastated. 45 years. Michael. We've been married 45 years and she threw it all away. Over the next few days, I learned more details I wish I didn't know. Jennifer talked to Linda. According to my daughter, Linda was confused and trying to figure out what she wants. She felt terrible about hurting me, but also felt alive for the first time in years. She's having some kind of breakdown, Jennifer told me. This isn't normal behavior for Mom. Maybe she needs therapy. Maybe she needs to accept consequences for her choices. Michael drove by Jake's house. Saw Linda's car parked there. She's not at Aunt Margaret's, he reported. She's with him. So she'd lied again. Said she was going to her sister's. Went to her lover instead. I hired a divorce lawyer. James Patterson, recommended by a guy at the garage who'd been through a messy divorce. Mr. Morrison, James said after I'd explained the situation, I need to ask some questions. How long have you been married? 45 years. Do you have assets? Property? We own our house. Paid off. It's worth about $400,000. We have retirement savings, between my 401k and her pension, about $800,000. The garage is worth maybe $500,000, but that's primarily mine since I bought it with money from before the marriage. She's going to be entitled to half of everything acquired during the marriage. The house, the retirement savings, possibly spousal support depending on her income. She has a good job, makes decent money as a practice administrator. That helps. But Mr. Morrison, you need to understand. Pennsylvania is an equitable distribution state. That means the court will divide marital property fairly, not necessarily equally. Given the length of your marriage and your relative financial positions, she's likely to get a substantial portion of everything. Even though she's the one who cheated? Pennsylvania is a no-fault divorce state. Adultery can be considered, but it rarely affects property division. I'm sorry, but that's the reality. I sat in his office, processing this information. Linda would get half of everything we'd built together. Half our savings. Half the house. Possibly even a portion of the garage that I'd built from nothing. And she'd get it while living with her 32-year-old boyfriend. The unfairness of it was staggering. What are my options? I asked. We can file for divorce on grounds of adultery, which might expedite the process. We can fight for a greater share of assets, though given the length of your marriage, that's difficult. We can try to protect the garage business by arguing it's separate property. But Mr. Morrison, you need to be prepared. This is going to be expensive and painful. More expensive and painful than staying married to a woman who betrayed me? That's a decision only you can make. Over the next few weeks, the truth of Linda's affair became clearer. Jake's ex-wife reached out. I don't know how she got my number, probably through mutual acquaintances in the neighborhood, but she called me one evening. Mr. Morrison? This is Vanessa Martinez, Jake's ex-wife. How did you get this number? From the Hendersons next door. I heard about what's happening with your wife and Jake. I wanted to warn you. Warn me about what? Jake has a pattern. He targets older women. Married women specifically. He had an affair with our neighbor when we were married. She was 58, married for 30 years. That's why I divorced him. My stomach dropped. He's done this before? 3 times that I know of. He likes the power dynamic. Like seducing married women, making them feel young and desired. Then when they leave their husbands for him, he gets bored and moves on to the next one. Did you tell Linda this? I tried. ran into her at the grocery store, told her she needed to be careful. She told me I was jealous and trying to ruin her happiness. How long do his affairs usually last? The longest was 6 months. Usually once the woman leaves her husband and wants a real relationship, Jake loses interest. The thrill is in the affair, not the relationship. After we hung up, I sat with this information. Jake was a predator. He targeted vulnerable women, made them feel special, then discarded them. And Linda had fallen for it completely. I should have felt vindicated. Should have wanted to tell Linda immediately. But instead I just felt sad. My wife of 45 years had been seduced by a man with a pattern. A man who would inevitably hurt her. Part of me wanted to protect her from that pain. But a larger part of me thought she deserved to learn this lesson the hard way. Christmas was approaching. Our first Christmas apart in 46 years. Jennifer wanted to host both of us separately. Dinner with me one day, with Linda another. I'm not splitting holidays, I told her. You choose. Either your mother comes or I do. Dad, that's not fair. None of this is fair, Jennifer. But I'm not going to sit at a table and pretend everything's fine while your mother is living with her boyfriend. Jennifer chose me. So did Michael. Linda spent Christmas with her sister Margaret. I spent Christmas Day with my kids and grandkids, opening presents and eating turkey and pretending to be happy. But all I could think about was Linda. Where she was. Who she was with. Whether she was happy. The grandkids asked where Grandma was. Jennifer told them she was sick. Couldn't make it. The lie was easier than the truth. On December 28th, Linda called me. First time we'd spoken since she left. Rick. What do you want, Linda? I wanted to check on you. See how you were doing. How do you think I'm doing? My wife of 45 years is shacking up with a guy half her age. I'm doing terribly. I'm not shacking up with him. I'm staying at Margaret's. Michael drove by Jake's house. Your car was there. Silence. Fine. I've been at Jake's. But Rick, we need to talk about the future. What future? You made your choice. I didn't choose to end our marriage. I just needed space to figure things out. You needed space to fuck your boyfriend. Don't be crude. Don't be crude? You're having an affair and I'm the one who's crude. I'm trying to have a conversation. About what? About how you want a divorce. Fine. My lawyer will send the papers. About how you want to come back. Not happening. I don't know what I want yet. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Well, while you're figuring it out, here's something to consider. Jake's ex-wife called me. Told me about his pattern of seducing married women. 3 affairs that she knows of. All with women old enough to be his mother. He gets off on the power, Linda. On making you feel special. And when you actually leave your husband for him, when the affair becomes real, he loses interest. Vanessa is bitter and jealous. Is she? Or is she trying to warn you? You're not special to him, Linda. You're just the latest in a pattern. You don't know him. And neither do you. You've known him 4 months. I've known you 47 years. Who do you think knows you better? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe you know me too well. Maybe there's no mystery left, no excitement. We're 69 and 67 years old. We're supposed to be past excitement. We're supposed to be enjoying our grandkids and retirement and the life we built together. Is that really all there is? Just existing until we die. What did you think marriage was? A 45-year courtship? Constant excitement and passion? That's not real life, Linda. Maybe I want something that's not real life, even if it's just for a little while. Then you've made your choice. Enjoy it while it lasts. I hung up before she could respond. New Year's came and went. I spent it alone, turning down invitations from both kids. Sat in my living room, drinking whiskey, thinking about 45 previous New Year's Eves spent with Linda. This time last year, we'd been on the couch watching the ball drop, making modest resolutions about exercising more and eating healthier. Linda had kissed me at midnight, told me she loved me. Had she meant it? Or was she already unhappy then, already thinking about having an affair? In January, The divorce papers were filed. Linda contested nothing, agreed to split everything 50-50. The house would be sold, proceeds divided. Retirement accounts split. She didn't want spousal support, probably because she was moving in with Jake and didn't want me to have ammunition. Jennifer told me Linda had given her notice at work, was retiring early so she could spend more time with Jake. She's throwing her whole life away for him, Jennifer said, disgusted. Her job, her marriage, her relationship with us. All for a guy who's going to dump her in 3 months. Maybe that's what she needs to learn, I said. Don't you care? Don't you want to stop her? I can't stop her, Jennifer. She's an adult making adult choices. Terrible choices, but hers to make. In February, Vanessa's prediction started coming true. Michael heard through the neighborhood grapevine that Jake and Linda were having problems. That they'd been seen arguing. That Jake had been spotted with another woman at a restaurant. Maybe he's already cheating on her, Michael said. Wouldn't that be ironic? I don't find any of this ironic. Just sad. In March, the house sold. We had to clean it out together, dividing up 45 years of accumulated possessions. Photos, furniture, dishes, everything. Linda looked terrible. She'd lost weight, had dark circles under her eyes. She looked her age for the first time in months. No more glowing skin and vibrant energy that Jake had apparently given her. You okay? I asked, unable to help myself. Fine. You don't look fine. I'm just tired. The move has been stressful. Move. Jake and I are getting our own place. A condo downtown. Fresh start. That's good. I guess. We worked in silence for a while, packing boxes, deciding who got what. The coffee maker I'd bought her for Christmas 10 years ago. The quilt her mother had made us as a wedding gift. The photos of our kids and grandkids. Rick, she said suddenly, do you hate me? I thought about it. Did I hate her? After everything she'd done, all the pain she'd caused? No, I said honestly. I don't hate you. I'm angry, devastated. But I don't hate you. You're the mother of my children. We built a life together. You can't erase 45 years just because the ending is terrible. She started crying. I'm so sorry. For all of it. For hurting you. For being selfish. For throwing away everything we had. Are you sorry? Or are you just sorry you got caught? I'm sorry for all of it. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. How was it supposed to go, Linda? You have an affair indefinitely and I never find out. I don't know. I didn't plan any of this. It just happened. No. You made choices. You chose to respond to his flirting. You chose to go to his house. You chose to lie to me for 4 months. Those were all choices. I know. You're right. I felt so invisible, Rick. So old and boring and invisible. And Jake made me feel seen. I saw you every day for 45 years. Did you? Or did you just see the wife and mother and grandmother? When's the last time you saw me as a woman? I didn't have an answer to that. The divorce was finalized in April. 45 years of marriage ended in a courtroom, with lawyers and paperwork and cold, clinical language. I signed the papers feeling numb. Linda cried. The judge declared us officially divorced. We walked out of the courthouse together, one last time, then went to our separate cars. Separate lives. Goodbye, Rick, Linda said. Goodbye, Linda. And that was it. 45 years. Over. But the story doesn't end there. In May, Jennifer got a call from Linda. She was crying hysterically. Jake had broken up with her. He said it wasn't working, Linda sobbed to our daughter. That the age difference was too much. That he needs to date women his own age. He's already seeing someone else. Someone he used to train at the gym. She's 25. Jennifer. 25. Vanessa had been right. Jake had gotten bored once the affair became a real relationship. Once Linda had left her husband and there was no more forbidden thrill, he'd lost interest. Now Linda was alone. Divorced. Retired. Living in a condo by herself because Jake had kicked her out. Jennifer wanted me to reach out to her. Mom needs support right now, Dad. She's devastated. She should be. She destroyed a 45-year marriage for a guy who dumped her after 6 months. What did she expect? She expected you to be there for her. I was there for her. For 45 years. She's the one who left. So you're just going to let her suffer? I'm not letting her do anything. She made choices. Now she lives with consequences. But despite my harsh words, I did feel bad for Linda. Not bad enough to take her back. That ship had sailed, that trust was destroyed. But bad for the pain she was going through. She'd given up everything for a fantasy. And now she had nothing. 6 months have passed since the divorce. I'm still adjusting to single life at 69. I sold the garage to Michael, gave him a good deal, father-to-son transfer. Retired fully. I'm living in a small condo near Jennifer, spending time with the grandkids, trying to figure out who I am outside of being Linda's husband. It's hard. After 45 years of being part of a couple, being single is strange. Lonely. But also, surprisingly, freeing. I've joined a gym. Started hiking again. Made some friends through a veteran social group. I'm learning to cook beyond just grilling burgers. Learning to enjoy my own company. Linda is struggling. Jennifer tells me she's depressed, seeing a therapist, trying to rebuild her life. She wants to apologize to me, to try to have some kind of relationship even if it's not romantic. I'm not ready for that. Maybe someday. But not now. The wound is too fresh. The betrayal too deep. Jennifer asked me recently if I regret anything. If I wish I'd done things differently, been more attentive, noticed Linda's unhappiness earlier. I thought about it for a long time. No, I said finally. I was a good husband. Not perfect, but good. I worked hard, provided for my family, was faithful for 45 years. Linda's unhappiness wasn't my fault. Her affair wasn't my fault. Those were her choices. But if you'd known she was unhappy, she never told me. Never gave me a chance to fix it. Just went straight to having an affair. That's on her, not me. Do you still love her? I'll always love the woman I married. The woman I raised kids with, built a life with. But that woman is gone. The person who had an affair, who lied for months, who threw away our marriage, I don't know that person. And I can't love someone I don't know. My name is Richard Allen Morrison. I am 69 years old. I was married for 45 years to a woman I thought I knew, who I thought loved me. I found her WhatsApp messages with our 32-year-old neighbor. Hundreds of messages about their affair. About how he made her feel young and alive and desired. She left me for him. Destroyed our marriage of 45 years for 6 months of excitement. He dumped her when the thrill wore off. When she wanted a real relationship instead of an affair. Now she's alone. Regretful. Devastated by the consequences of her choices. And me? I'm learning to be single at 69. Learning that it's never too late to start over. Learning that I'm worth more than being someone's backup plan. I don't know what the future holds. But I know one thing. I deserve better than being discarded for a fantasy that was never going to last. Linda made her choice. And now we both have to live with it. Did you like my story? And which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you like the story, you can support me by sending a super thanks so I can keep bringing more stories like this. Thank you so much for your sweet support. I'm looking forward to your comments on the story. On the screen you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend. There's so much more on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story. With love and respect.